I've gotten a handful of requests from people asking me to do a comparison on these two knives. I'm also trying something new. I've got a 2-camera setup now. My wife upgraded her digital camera, so now I've got the old one that shoots HD video and the camera that I've used in the past. So you can see that, I'll show you what they are. Here's camera 1 over there, and camera 2. Camera 1, camera 2. And I can even try to do like a, maybe like a split screen. How would that work? Like this. Camera 1. Camera 1 on the right. Camera 2 on the left. Just something fun. I don't know if I'm going to keep doing these 2-camera shots, but you know, it's something interesting to do. It is more labor intensive when I edit, but it's no big deal. But anyways, these two knives, as you can tell, are Kukris, and I've shown these two on in my other videos before. People want to know more specifics about it, so this one is a cold steel Gurkha Kukri, and this is the version in SK5 steel. And the other one is a Ontario Kukri. Both of these are about 1/4 inch thick. I believe the cold steel might be a tad bit thicker than a 1/4 inch, and you can tell on camera that it indeed is a little bit thicker. And they weigh about the same. Let me go ahead and give you the scale to see what exactly they weigh and what the differences are. The cold steel is going to come in at, let's do grams. 599, just under 600 grams. And then the Ontario, including this little lanyard, which doesn't weigh much, 594. So they're almost identical in weight, and feels about right. They feel pretty much the same. So it means that the Ontario is probably a bigger blade as far as the areas on either side goes, because it is thinner, and being that it weighs almost the same, you would think that maybe it's longer, but to the contrary, the cold steel, it's actually about a 1/2 inch longer. And as far as the blade shape goes, the Ontario has more of a drop like a traditional Kukri does, whereas the cold steel is more of just kind of a smooth curvature on the top. The Ontario also has a more abrupt drop, so that means when you put the two handles parallel to each other, the Ontario Kukri goes further down the plane of the handle. These are just kind of some specs on these knives. Practical purposes go, both of these knives, they do equally well. The fit and finish is a little bit better in the cold steel, but it is made in China, whereas the Ontario is made in the US. They're equally sturdy. The Ontario is going to cost you about probably 1/3, maybe 1/4 of the cost of the cold steel. So overall, this is going to be a better value. Although the fit and finish on the cold steel is better. It feels better in the hand. I like the texture on this craton handle better than the craton handle in this one. This is more of a kind of a diamond checkering with these horizontal grids front and back. Both of these are full tang designs with lanyard hole, brass insert, liner in the lanyard hole. Another big difference is the sheath that it comes with. Cold steel comes with a great Secure X, which is a Kydex type thermoplastic sheath. It's molded perfectly for the knife. And I have heard some complaints about this knife or this sheath dulling the knife, you know, with repeated inserts and extracts. Although I haven't had that experience, and I would imagine it has to do with the fact that when somebody inserts it back into the sheath, that they are grinding it against the these grommets and the screws that are on the bottom edge here. You know, I haven't used this extensively, so I can't really give you that that experience. But haven't had it for about 2 years. It's still really sharp. The Ontario sheath, on the other hand, is very cheap. Feels like just a real thin plastic lined sheath with canvas fabric glued to the outside, stitched along the borders to keep it in place. There's a lanyard loop, I mean not lanyard loop, but a belt loop out of webbing. Looks to be about 1.5 inch, 1 inch webbing, with the snap that keeps it in place. And it's kind of this open top design that most kukri sheath are. And you can tell on the inside there's a strip of leather. Let's see if it works in this camera. Lighting may not be quite as good. There's a strip of leather on the bottom where the blade edge would make contact. And that potentially is where it could save your edge from touching these rivets that are on the edges, holding the sheath together. It's not the greatest design. It's kind of cheaply made, but it does work. And there is this leg tie. I got it kind of just looped around this belt loop right now. But if you were to carry this, you put this through your belt. Of course, the loop is pretty big, so it's probably going to slide up and down quite a bit, and then back and forth on your belt. But you can use this to cinch it up to your leg, to your lower thigh, so that at least it doesn't do this kind of flopping around or maybe catch it on branches and things. But overall, both of these are great knives. This being the better knife of the two, which is the cold steel, but the Ontario being the better value. You get much more bang for the buck with this Ontario Kukri. And I want to show you what's coming up in the next Kukri review. I got another Kukri. You've seen this one before. This is the one that I've done the chopping test. It's been sharpened up really sharp, and it's been working really well for me. I've got grease on there to prevent rust because this is unprotected carbon steel. I got another one right here. This is another traditional kukri. I'm going to go ahead and do a heads-up comparison between these two in an upcoming video. Thanks for watching. Have a good day.